All right, guys, welcome to the Manic Mind podcast. I am your host, Dan Snyder. You know, you guys know me. This is my first solo podcast, and I'm not going to lie to you. I am definitely a little more nervous than usual because I have to show you guys myself, but this is also a good opportunity for you guys to get to know me and who the person is interviewing these people. I also have a new person, a part of my team. His name is George. He's the tech guy. George, say hi.
What up, guys?
Yeah, he's going to be doing all the good stuff, and the edits are going to be cleaner. We're also, when we have guests on, we're going to be having multiple cameras, so it's not just going to be a side view. It's probably going to be like, you guys can see me like this, you guys can see the guest like this. It's not going to be that awkward, like, oh my God, I have to see a side profile the other time, and goddamn, my nose is not meant for a side profile. So I guess I could just introduce myself a little bit more in depth. So, you know, like I said, my name's Dan. I started this podcast because I have a passion for something like this. Like, I started off doing YouTube when I was a little kid. I did, you know, random stuff like pretended to be an army man with my friend, which was very cringy. Thank God that video is lost in the internet. And, you know, I posted my wrestling videos, football videos. I made a Brian Cushing video that was one of the most uncomfortable videos you'll ever see because it was edited by like a 9-year-old or maybe 10 or something like that. And then I made one about UFC, which is about Jason Mayhem Miller. If you guys don't know who that is, look him up. He's a beast. And he got in Nate Diaz's face, and he got pushed by his team. And I wrote in big letters, the face of the worst MMA fighter in history. And let me be honest with you guys, people are dicks on the internet if you didn't know that. They roasted little old me when I was a little kid, saying like, you're a dumb fuck, you shouldn't be posting content, you don't even know MMA, and like, they're roasting me and I'm just this little kid. Dave's laughing in the background. My guest for Friday is in the background too, so I got a little audience here with me. But yeah, that the internet is a ruthless place, and I have learned that over the years, thankfully, from experience. So this podcast, anything that's said to me that's a little negative won't come as a surprise at all. So like I said, I started off with YouTube, then I moved on to Twitch. I was one of those gamers, you could say. But the one thing that was the problem was that I wasn't good at games. And that usually doesn't go well when you're trying to entertain people, because they want to see that you're good at the game as well as funny. And I was just kind of funny because I would rage and break a controller. And I would usually play with, you know, Dave, who's back there. And Dave is known for breaking some controllers. And, yeah, that's where the Twitch went. And, you know, I had 500 followers. It was going all right. I became a Twitch affiliate. Found out that a Twitch affiliate is actually not a good thing to go through. There is a lot of stuff wrong with being a Twitch affiliate. They own your likeness. I wouldn't have been able to stream on Twitch or YouTube right now because of it. They had me locked in. Sent them a message. They got me out of there, which I think is kind of fucked up. It's kind of fucked up to give kids the opportunity. And I'm talking about kids. Like, there are, like, what, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds doing something like this. I might be wrong that there's an age requirement. But regardless, having somebody, you know, take your likeness into account, and you know that they're not going to read the contract. They just think, all right, I'm finally going to get paid on Twitch. I'm going to get paid playing video games. And it's just not a good thing, because you don't really read that. You just get excited by the idea of, I finally get to get paid. And, you know, I got paid maybe $100 every, like, 5 or 6 months. And, you know, with the hopes of being a partner. But, dude, to get a partnership is so hard. It's just not worth being an affiliate first and then going to partner, because there's no way to spread your name out with other platforms like YouTube or Facebook Live or stuff like that. And it's just not worth it, I would say. They have you in a bind, and it's, trust me, please stay away from that. So I got out of that, abandoned the Twitch. It was really hard because I felt like I was quitting, but then I started the podcast with hopes that this would be something I enjoyed. I had no idea that I would like it this much. It actually came to me when I was having a manic episode with my bipolar, and I was just writing down a million different things, jotting down every note you could possibly figure out, and I came up with, oh my God, I like talking to people. I like Joe Rogan. Let's just see if this works out. And I wrote that down, and I struggled with coming up with a Twitch name for about a year and a half. I came up with the Manic Mind podcast within 4 minutes. And I took a risk. I had my first guest on. I believe my first guest, God, how can I already forget who my first guest was? It was Carlos, Emma, and Rob. And we just went about and did it. And it was one of the most fun experiences I've had with recording anything. I had so much fun. Everybody there was having a good time. We all talked. There wasn't really any silence. There wasn't any really awkward moments. I mean, I definitely was a little stiff. I'm not as comfortable as I was now. And it just really made me feel like I was doing something finally that I would enjoy to do. So now that I'm getting people messaging me from high school, or George, who is a college friend, who messaged me saying, here, I really want to be a part of this. This is something that I know will take off. I have real faith in this. So he contacted me and I said, yeah, let's get him on board. And just to have that feedback from people who I haven't talked to in a long time and are telling me, hey, this could go somewhere. It just brings me that joy, because I never really got that with, I had people supporting me on Twitch, but I didn't have that same reaction of, yo, this is different. This feels right. So that's where the podcast came from. This is enjoyable to me. This feels good. I feel like I finally found something that will, progress and become big. So happy that the podcast is finally something that I enjoy. And like I mentioned before, if you guys don't know, I've said this in other podcasts, I am bipolar. I mentioned that the Manic episode is what created this, so I want that to be taken out, to get out of the way. If anybody ever looks that up, I am bipolar. I'm bipolar 1. We got a lot of fun stuff with that. I'll probably mention some stories. Maybe today I'll mention some fun stories that the bipolar got me into, whether it was, what's some crazy shit we used to do in college? Do you remember?
Yeah, for those that don't know, I was a couple doors down from Dan's dorm, and he had a dog. That was one major aspect.
Brick, bro.
And then the second major aspect, I would say, would be that, I mean, we didn't hang out too much. We were friendly.
Yeah. We definitely, because, I mean, I definitely was, like, closer with the guys down a few doors, but, I mean.
I saw the seeds of what you're doing now, though, then, because you would just walk into our room, you'd walk into the room across the hall, just get to know everyone, play some video games, hang out.
Yeah, man. Like, I definitely had that thing, because I was in a single dorm in college, and that is, like, unheard of. I mean, that's an RA room. That is a room meant for the people who are supposed to keep us in check. But we had an RA who was a girl, and the girl side was separate from the boys. So basically the boys were just free to do whatever they want. I'm just going to say this right now. Any story I tell is I'm just going to, this isn't, I'm not going to, I don't know. I'm just going to tell certain stories then. So the boys basically did whatever they want, whenever they want, because they didn't have the risk of getting in trouble by the RA. And people thought for the first 3 weeks that I was the RA. Because I was in the RA room, I was shirtless, and I had a dog all the time, and people didn't come up to me because they were scared of me, because they were like, I don't want to get in this guy's bad side. And it was just so uncomfortable for me, because my girlfriend at the time broke up with me. So there's just little old me crying in the corner, just doing nothing for 2 weeks, just like, what the fuck? Like, this is so depressing. Why doesn't anybody like me when I try to talk to them? And then the first thing that got me to talk was my dad told me, he's like, yo, go talk to the first kids you see on your floor. I see these 2 kids, Tim, he's been on, and Josh will be on the podcast with it, I think, next week. And I went up to them, I said, hey, what are you guys doing tonight? They said, you're coming out with us. All right, perfect. They found out that it wasn't an RA, found out I had a dog, and that was my in. And the first time they took me out, like fully, like we went out to like a real like frat party. Well, actually, it wasn't even a frat party. Dude, you know what it was? It was Football House. It was Bobo's, if you've ever been there. So it's
not
like
cool enough.
Yeah, yeah, cool enough. Yeah, because that little apartment for the football players was cool. You fucking nerds.
We were probably playing Mario Party.
Dude, that sounds a lot better than Bobo's. Dude, you want to know what happened there? I went to this Football House, and they were like, trying to test the waters with me, see how far I could go. See, because that's what guys do. You see how far you can push a kid to see if he can hang with you. Of course, that little cocky, testosterone-filled, macho man, like, let's see how far this kid can go. So it's my actual birthday weekend, and they're like, all right, you're coming out, we're going to Bobo's, we're going to drink. We drink a few shots, whatever. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling awkward, and I haven't really had a lot of experience with women, because I had a girlfriend for like almost most of my high school days, and I was always socially awkward before that. And when I went to Bobo's, the first thing I would do is like go up to a girl, and I would expect her to talk to me, and I would just be sitting. Dude, that's the way to get a chick, is you just sit there and you just like kind of stare. just staring at it. I see you fucking laughing, and you would just kind of stare. And then I remember this chick was talking, and she says, "So, are you gonna say something to me?" And I'm like, "So, how's the weather?" Like that is my first response, and I remember that to this day because I was hammered and I didn't know what to say. So I said that, and she just looked at me, didn't say a single word after that, and just left. And then I found Christina later on in Bobo's, and she was on actually last week. Or no, she was on. Yeah, she was on last week. She was on last Friday. She came up to me. She's like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just a little socially awkward." And we talked and all that stuff. And then we get to the real fun part. All of a sudden, Josh grabs me with Tim, and he says, "All right, it's your birthday. You need to chug this full thing of vodka." And it was a solo cup, probably filled to like a little over halfway. And they're like, "Chug this." And of course, dumb me, who's trying to be like get the best impression possible and make them think that I'm cool. I chug the entire thing. And I haven't felt a burn like that in my entire life. I stick my head under the sink of some guy's house, and I'm chugging water. And I'm like, "Oh my God, what the fuck is happening to me?" They're like, "Dude, that was all Everclear." Dude, fucking imagine that. Imagine a 19-year-old boy chugging fucking over half a cup of Everclear. It's just, all I know is after that moment, I was either a ladies' man or I was just drunk at the party, because I closed my eyes and I was walking home with a kid that I barely knew, stumbling through the streets. I opened my eyes again. I'm in my bed. I don't know where the fuck. I was like, all I know is it was either the best night of my life or I made an ass out of myself. And it was just, dude, Everclear is fucking dangerous. Like the fact that people drink that, like, is insane. I don't know how they can drink that. It doesn't make sense, because when I had it, like, you know, obviously I chugged it and I chugged a decent amount. It hurt. It was painful. I thought I was going to die. And then I was like, I got to stop saying like so much. I have such a problem with that. I was drinking it and I thought I was going to die, because I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to have alcohol poisoning. This is awful. And that was the worst, because I thought that when I woke up, I was like, I hated these. I probably made these kids hate me. They probably saw me like an ass. I was that drunk kid that nobody liked. And then that was the end of it. I wake up the next morning, bang on my door, fucking slamming on the door, telling me, "Open up." I'm like, oh fuck, it's like the cops or something. I did something. I'm panicking. And it was just Josh and Tim. They were fucking with me. I'm panicking. I'm like, pants are around my ankles. I'm running to the door like a little kid. Fucking, it's just so scary to think that there was like a cop coming to my door, and I'm freaking out. And I open the door, and Josh and Tim are just sitting there laughing at me, and they said, "Dude, you were like the most fun person I've ever seen." And from there, bro, college was fun. There were definitely some stories there that will be there lifelong. And that's what I'm going to say to people who are going into college. That's the lesson here, is that when you're going into college, make sure that you are open, try to make friends, and if you're socially awkward, just chug 3/4 of Everclear, and you'll have best friends for the rest of your life. No, don't do that. Please don't.
Yeah, legal disclaimer there.
Dude, you don't want that. So George was telling me, let's get into something else. That's enough about me for now. So George was telling me about something that happened in, what was it, DC?
Yeah, the Harley Quinn show, which I believe is on Showtime. But so essentially it's this cartoon Harley Quinn show that is really popular right now in the third season. And there was a storyline in the third season where Batman was supposed to go down on Catwoman, and DC was like, "You can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that." They're like, "Heroes don't do that." That's the quote. "Heroes don't do that." That's where they draw the line, is when you have Batman performing oral sex on Catwoman.
But I feel like most women would think that that's like heroic. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And also, is this a cartoon?
Yeah, it's wacky. It's funny. You should watch it.
And it's like an adult cartoon.
Yes, very much so.
So they're turning like, you know what it is that superheroes have been around so long, is that a lot of the stories are getting stale. And, you know, their target demographic before Marvel kicked off with their stuff, and before, like, you know, like, I don't even know if X-Men was that popular. I remember it being like popular, but I don't know if it wasn't Marvel at all. So I feel like now that they need to find more people, they're going into the adult world with like even cartoons. Mm-hmm. You're seeing, I mean, think about it. Think about Brickleberry. You're thinking about Family Guy, American Dad, all those they're meant for adults, not meant for kids. So when you're thinking about Harley Quinn, you're thinking, okay, this is like the Batman from when I was a kid. This is just like some weird, like, you're a little kid and you're rooting for Batman to beat the shit out of a villain. Mm-hmm. Now you're talking about Batman going down on Catwoman. Like, what the fuck is that about?
It's not the Batman animated series from the 90s. It's like an R-rated. But it's funny because Batman's mask, I feel like, has a specific area that is cut out to perform the act.
He was made for it. His mask was designed for this. That is the reason why Batman's mask, dude, he's there to pleasure women. That is why his mask is cut out like that. And it's fucking interesting to think about. Also, I'd like to state that I am pro going down. You know what? I'm pro. I'm going to make a stand right now that heroes do. Yeah. Everybody give it a round of applause. Heroes do it. Don't believe what DC has to say. Here, that's why I'm a Marvel person.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be getting any DC partnerships down the line
Fuck
after that.
DC. Marvel. You don't think Tony Stark goes down on women? Well, not anymore. He's dead.
Awkward.
I mean, that's not. I mean, is that really a spoiler anymore?
It's been 3 years since the release.
3 years?
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years.
Fuck,
I'm crazy.
Bro.
That's what year it is. 2 years since the release of Endgame.
That's what freaks me out, is that time goes by so fast, bro. It's been 2 years already. I remember sitting through that movie and I had to piss so bad, and they told you to like pee beforehand, but I didn't. And I was just sitting there in the theaters with my sister, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna explode. But then when you saw the scene of like Iron Man snapping his fingers, dude, that's just cinematic masterpiece. And you know what's crazy to me is that DC has all these probably like they probably have access to the same things that Marvel has, but every movie they produce, I'm like, it's shit. I don't think they've ever had a movie that I've said like, wow, this is like Marvel quality.
Yeah, they have Batman and they had Shazam. I don't know if you ever saw Shazam. That was a pretty good one.
Was it? Oh god, I just didn't like the concept. I mean,
yeah, it's the concept isn't great, but
have you watched Invincible?
Yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna get too into it because I don't want to spoil anything. Invincible is one of my favorite shows I think I've seen in like years when it comes to superheroes, because I never really watched superhero shows, but when I did when I was a kid, they're like really fond memories, like, again, like Batman and the X-Men, kid shows like that when you were a kid. And Invincible, now that I'm an adult, all I'm gonna say is imagine if Superman just like, I don't even want to say that because that doesn't give it away. Yeah, I don't want to even say that. Just imagine like all those cartoons when you were a kid, but people get fucked up. And like you're seeing people get ripped in half and stuff, and the villains are getting smashed. It's a lot cooler and a lot bloodier. Imagine if anime, like a real anime, and a cartoon came together. That would be what Invincible is. And I think that it's so, I would 100% say to watch that show. That show is so good, bro. It's completely so good. Agree. The intimidation factor when it comes to like making superheroes scary. Like it's like, you know what another show is I never watched, but I heard is like it, is The Boys. Is that what it's called? The Boys?
Yeah.
I heard The Boys is like that. Like it's very, the superheroes are more realistic. Because superheroes, I mean, dude, think about it. If you could run fast as hell, you're telling me you're not hitting anybody? Yeah. Like, I mean, come on. That doesn't make sense, bro. All right. So, yep, I'm going to state it right now. Batman should have went down on her. That is what superheroes would do. Right now, Batman is a villain. Dude, there was a scene talking about this. I talked about this with Carlos when he was on the podcast. Batman apparently is like known for telling superhero women to like fuck off when they're trying to hit on him. There was a scene where like Wonder Woman was like saying, do you want to be my boyfriend or something? And he was like, I work alone or something. And it's like, he's just the most social. Dude, that's like what I was with women. Only women didn't like me. I was the one trying to talk to them, and they would say, I work alone.
Yeah. I mean, his one true love is fighting crime.
Talk about fighting, bro. You see the fight this weekend?
263?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Adesanya? Dude, that was a crazy fight. That was one of the card was frustrating as hell. When I finished that card, I was so frustrated. I like Adesanya, but I also don't like Adesanya. I don't like how Adesanya grabs people's asses and stuff during the match. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I love Conor McGregor. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. And people say, like, well, how do you like Conor and not like Adesanya's cockiness? Well, Conor in the ring isn't cocky, or octagon, not ring. Conor in the octagon isn't cocky. Conor isn't, slapping somebody's ass, making a fool out of them. Because I feel like when you're fighting, you have to have, like, show some level of respect to the person you're fighting. And I don't think grabbing their ass and, making them look like a fool is very respectful. That's why when Cody Garbrandt got knocked the fuck out, I was so happy. Doing those dance moves against Dominic Cruz, I was like, come on, man. Don't do that. I don't like that. So, Adesanya, I was kind of rooting against you. I'm sorry if you see this. I'm sorry. But I love that you like anime, and you are awesome. But I was rooting against you. But I also didn't know much about your opponent, so he might be a total dick. So, if he is a dick, I'm sorry. I should have rooted for you. Well, actually, during the fight, I wanted who was he fighting? Do you know? It was an Italian guy.
No, but I just kept calling him a meatball, which I don't know if that's racially insensitive. I am Italian.
You could say it. You're Italian. Well, I mean, I'm part Italian too. My great grandfather was like from Italy, so that counts, right? Well, whoever he was fighting, he just had no game plan against Adesanya. He was doing these feints nonstop, and I get it. I'm somebody who I've done
Vittori?
Yeah, Vittori, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I've done mixed martial arts on and off for probably like 5 or 6 years. And my stand-up has always been a little less trained, but I'm more of a I like jiu-jitsu, I like wrestling, I like all that kind of stuff. I want to get back to mixed martial arts soon. I'm actually slowly integrating it back after a little bit of a hiatus. But just based off of what I saw, you say Vittori?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Vittori, his game plan was so flawed. Like, he had to close the distance, I feel like, against Adesanya. Adesanya had such a long reach that you're not going to get him by fighting 5 feet away. And he just kept not checking the leg kick, letting him do whatever he wants. He landed some good punches, but he usually landed good punches when he went at him. I think Vittori was scared shitless. And you actually have the clip, and we'll probably post that later, but you have the clip. He showed up in, what are those things called? Are they called Oni masks? He showed up in one of those masks that are like from Japanese lore. Like, if you ever see like Avatar?
Yeah, it is an Oni mask.
It's an Oni mask, right? Yeah, I thought that.
Good call.
Because I actually thought about getting that tattooed. Oni masks are so cool. Yeah, he showed up in that. I think Vittori was scared shitless. I honestly think that he was like a little starstruck. Not starstruck, because he's fought this guy. He's fought Adesanya before. And he came.
The scare tactic was 11 out of 10. He's looking like a samurai. Dude. I'd be shitting myself too.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, Adesanya's reach is so long. He has an 80-inch reach. That's absurd for a man his size. 80 inches, bro. That's just I couldn't believe that when I saw that on the when they were showing his stats and everything. It's just crazy. So these fighters, right? Talking about another fight. Well, okay, you know what? Like I said, I was rooting for Vittori, but then when Vittori was doing the most frustrating tactic of all, is just feinting, not doing anything, kind of scared to commit, and just didn't go in. I was freaking the fuck out, and I kept saying, Adesanya, just knock him out. Please finish this fight. I can't handle it anymore. Please just get it the fuck out. Now, again, that's just the spectator in me. These guys are trained professionals. Obviously, he was probably thinking of more things than me. Maybe he was thinking, I don't want to get knocked out by this guy. But I don't know. I'm not gonna judge him too much. But this is just what I was thinking at the time. Then there's another fighter who I have a love-hate relationship with, is Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz to me is awesome. I don't really like his personality, but as a fighter, I think he's a beast. Like, going to war, like when he fights, you know you're going to war. If you're fighting him, you know goddamn well this man isn't going to go out without a fight, and he is going to, at any point during that fight, you could get either knocked out or submitted. When Nate was getting his shit rocked by Leon Edwards, I was frustrated because Nate didn't look like himself. Or Leon Edwards is honestly a beast. I don't really know too much about it. Maybe Leon Edwards is actually that good. He probably is that good, honestly, if he beat the shit out of Nate Diaz. And Nate Diaz, at one point during the fight, when I think there was like a minute left, a minute and a half maybe, he cracked Leon Edwards after he was getting schmacked. He hit Leon Edwards with, I don't know what it was, but he hit him, and Leon Edwards started to like rock. Like he was going out. His legs were wobbling. But Nate did the thing that I hate so much. Bars, by the way. I hate it. He showboated. He like did this little thing or something like that, and it gave Leon Edwards just that little bit of time to recover. So he just put up his guard, and Nate didn't finish it because nothing left in the tank. But if he didn't do that showboat thing and he hit him with a clean jab or anything, he could have knocked out Leon Edwards. And I'm sitting there screaming at the TV because I was rooting for Nate Diaz. I mean, listen, I don't like his personality, but I always root for the guy who looks like he's going to war. So that fight was frustrating, bro. I mean, that was so frustrating. And then you see the fight with the one other fight that I watched because I didn't watch the full card. I watched at the same time I was roped into watching the boxing match, the YouTubers versus TikTokers.
Oh, okay.
I was roped into that by my sister. She was watching it on a different thing. Actually, my sister and Steph were watching it. So
Yeah, you said the fight. I know which fight you were talking about. The big Bryce Hall.
there it is, Bryce Hall. Well,
Talked a great deal of shit.
I didn't watch the actual like the interviews and shit. Who was talking shit?
They were both talking a healthy amount of shit, but Bryce Hall had the great quotable, "I've been in over 40 street fights," which is too exact of a number to sound hard.
Emma was telling me that he's like known on TikTok. So I was like, is he like a dancer? Is he a trend guy? What she said that he was like a frat guy, like a douche frat.
Essentially, yeah, and he is a little bit of a dancer. I feel like most of his fans are of the demographic of like 12 to 15-year-old girls.
So like Jake Paul.
Yeah, same. They have the same target
demographic.
audience for
He
sure.
got his absolute, and I don't like the Ace family because, well, I mean, I don't know too much about it, but I've definitely heard and seen some reportings on some of the activity that they've done.
Yeah, he's insane as well.
Yeah, he's also kind of a
There were no winners.
yeah, he's kind of an asshole. But let me just say, he absolutely beat the ever-living shit out of that man. He fucked him up. That guy didn't get a single clean shot in. He beat his ass so bad that I was sitting there and I'm like, this is like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like if I went in there against Muhammad Ali and just tried to fight him. I just got my shit, or Mike Tyson, because it was more or less just power shot after power shot after power shot. And somebody told me, not I think Emma told me about it, but she said that Paige Van Zandt was the one commentating, I think.
I'm not sure. I didn't watch it live.
I'm pretty sure that she commentated, and she was like, well, Bryce Hall's looking at it more of a boxing, like a professional boxing fight, and not trying to slug it out. Okay, but a real professional boxer would beat the ever-living shit out of the Ace family guy. But Bryce Hall's not a professional boxer. He's just some bitch who wants to be famous more, just like Jake Paul and Logan Paul. Logan Paul and Jake Paul, I'm not taking anything away from them. They are legit amateur boxers, I would say. I would say that those guys could... honestly, it's hard to... I don't know if they could beat a boxer. I don't know if they could beat a legit boxer. But they're good enough to where they can fight the average man. They can knock out the average person. They can't... I don't know about a real boxer. I don't even know about an amateur boxer. But they can knock out the average man. And they are playing us like fiddles.
Yeah, I was about to say the nicest thing I can say about the Paul brothers is that they both know how to make money.
Dude, they are promoting more than I have ever seen. And we're falling for it. We are literally falling for every single thing they do. They're calling out the best opponents. Logan Paul, I have a little bit more respect for. He's fighting Mayweather, even though I don't know. I might kind of believe in the controversy that he was knocked out. I don't know if that's true.
The tape looks like it.
Dude, it looks like it. You know what it looks like? It looks like he didn't get knocked out. It looked like, I've heard Rogan talk about this, and I've actually seen it happen in a gym, is when you get hit perfectly on the jaw, your body just kind of like collapses. It's not like you're unconscious. It's like your body just goes out. And it's just weird to look at it because it looks like his whole body goes limp. And if like Mayweather let him fall, it didn't look like he was getting back up. But again, more credit to Logan. He's actually fought a legit boxer. Jake Paul is fighting a man who is so dangerous. He's fighting Tyron Woodley. I don't know Luque too well. He's come to my gym a few times. He actually, I think he was born in Jersey, but he trains at Gracie, New Jersey sometimes. He comes and trains with Mickey. And Luque's a badass. Luque goes to war, just like Nate Diaz, like I said. He goes to war with that man. He doesn't stop. He goes forward. Even after you hit him hard. He went, I don't know if he went the distance with Wonder Boy, but he got cracked by Wonder Boy and still was going at him. Luque fought Tyron Woodley. And Luque almost got knocked out by Tyron Woodley because Tyron Woodley was throwing bombs. But, he came back. Luque's a warrior, and Luque ended up, TKOing Tyron Woodley. Why do I keep saying? Why am I saying it like that? Tyron Woodley, and everyone's like, "Oh well, Tyron Woodley lost it. He can't do it anymore. He's old." Listen, he's old, but that man can still punch. If you were watching that fight, he was throwing bombs at Luque, and if one of those connect with Jake Paul will be in the hospital. He'll have a broken jaw. That man is not Ben Askren. He is not a chunky hip surgery dad coming out, out there with no training, because I don't think that man trained. When he walked out of that fight and he was sitting there smiling with his wife. He's like, "Bitch, we got paid."
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Ben Askren, as soon as he took the shirt off, he had the body by George. I was like, whoa, like this, there's no, like, and Jake Paul, he looks the part. He is yoked, I would say.
Oh, Jake Paul definitely looks the part. And he's not a bad boxer. He's not like this person who has no skill whatsoever. He's been boxing for like 3 years. So he has some legitimate skill. Should he have beaten Ben Askren? Probably. Ben Askren's known as like the worst striker in MMA. Will he beat Tyron Woodley? I hate to say it, but I'm probably going to buy that fight. I will buy that fight purely based off the fact that I want to see Woodley knock him out. And I think that's what's getting people to continue buying these pay-per-views, is because we want to see Logan Paul and Jake Paul get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it.
It's a circus. Sure. I've heard somebody say that. It's a circus. It really is just like we want to see something that doesn't make sense. Like seeing an amateur guy fight the greatest boxer of all time is just unheard of. So when we see it actually come to fruition, we're like, I gotta buy this because I want to see him get knocked out. And then he doesn't get knocked out because I think Mayweather's pulling his punches.
Oh, you did. What's the how does that help him?
Sets up a rematch.
Oh, he needs another bag for the exhibition.
Well, I mean, like, dude, if you can get another bag, why not get another bag? He is the smartest boxing business person, because no matter what he does, people will pay for it. People will watch Mayweather fight. And if it's against a YouTuber, of course they're going to ask for a fight. What was his quote? I mean, maybe you can look it up. It was like, legacy won't feed my kids, or something along those lines. And it makes sense, bro. The one thing that I hear be told to athletes all the time from different people is, listen, get your money and get out. The less injuries you have, the less damage you have, there's no reason to. There's no reason to. I mean, legacy is great if you can get it, but I'd rather make $100 million fighting Mayweather and just never fucking work a day in my life again. Because, like, I'm not going to live that lavish life if I had that.
Pretty much. He said, your kids can't eat legacy.
It's true, though. It's so true. Like, what are you going to do with I get
the sentiment, but you can't really eat money either.
Bro, how many athletes do you hear about now who fell out of relevance and they're, like, working at, like, McDonald's? Or, like, maybe not McDonald's, but, like, a small job. It's because, listen, your legacy was great, but you made dick because you weren't making those money moves, bro. At the end of the day, all of this stuff is about money moves. Conor McGregor, one of my favorite things about him is that he's one of the smartest business people. He makes money moves. He makes sure that even after the UFC thing is done, I have the whiskey. I know he sold it recently, but he's still a spokesman, so he's probably still making bank off that even after he sold it. He has McGregor Entertainment or McGregor something like that, like something sports entertainment. He has so many different ventures. That man's not just a fighter; he's an entrepreneur, and that's what I would suggest to anybody who is going to be an athlete. Is that if you're on the hype train, make sure you're taking advantage of it and not just living it. Make sure that you're doing smart things, and God, make that money, bro. Make the money. If you have that gift, make that money. I wish I had that gift. I wish I had that athletic talent to just be a football player or an MMA fighter and just live off that and make all the money possible and then just retire when I'm like 40 and not do anything for the rest of my life.
So with the Jake Paul bouts and the Logan Paul, Austin McBroom, the Bryce Hall, what's your thoughts on the concept of just anyone with a fan base hopping in the ring?
I think that if you're going to fight, and this is just purely based off the fact that I'm an MMA guy, I think you should fight MMA because boxing isn't fighting. I'll say it right here. Boxing is not fighting. Boxing is a sport. MMA is fighting because it's basically, there are some rules, but the rules aren't going to really save you except like a 12-6 or getting kicked on the ground. But if you're going to fight with a big fan base, I think you should fight mixed martial arts because if somebody, I mean, boxing isn't unheard of to be training forever. MMA, I feel like, is a relatively new thing that people are slowly getting into training. Eventually, like, it's in 10 years, you're going to hear about, like, everybody training MMA. Everybody's doing jiu-jitsu. Everybody's doing, Muay Thai. I think that if you're going to go and fight, I would I would fucking love to see Logan Paul or Jake Paul fight an amateur MMA guy. They would get choked unconscious. They would be shitting their pants. And that's why they won't go in MMA. And they're smart because they know when they lose, this hype train's over. This entire ride that they're going on is over when they lose because no one's going to be interested in it because they know they got their ass kicked. And MMA, at least you have more of a threat with anything because it's not like you can just hug somebody like Mayweather and Logan Paul. You can't just hug somebody and you'll be safe. When you're hugging somebody, you're either getting thrown, bro, or you're getting like punched, or there's nothing you can do about it in MMA. It's a dangerous world. So I think that if we're going to do these celebrity fights, I know the UFC won't sponsor it, but something that somebody should capitalize right now is make, like a UFC business for celebrity fighting and just go off that. Just be like, you guys can fight in this. We'll make sure we'll get all the proper paperwork and you don't have to worry about the UFC. Because I think Dana said that there's no way in fuck he'll ever have like a circus on his shit.
Yeah, I do. He does run the UFC pretty well from what I understand.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But even we have that with the boxing. I mean, I think it was this weekend as well. Lamar Odom boxed Aaron Carter. And I'll get the exact stats there. But Lamar Odom, I believe, is close to 6'10". Oh, my God.
You know what the issue is, too? Is
and
that
Aaron Carter, he is 6'10".
So these are just two, like, giants fighting.
Not even, I believe.
6'10" is still tall.
Aaron Carter is 6 foot. So there's a 10-inch difference.
What?
And Lamar Odom is a professional athlete.
Okay, dude.
And Aaron Carter is a professional meth head.
Oh, my fucking God. So, as is, when you watch Mayweather versus Logan Paul, you see such a size difference in that. Seeing somebody who's almost a full foot taller than you, now that's a circus. That is just a straight up circus show. That is they're having this. This is happening.
It already happened. Obviously, Lamar Odom knocked him out. They had these protective helmets that I haven't really seen.
Oh, it's
before.
like amateur. It's like amateur.
Yeah, they had like something in front of their mouth.
Bro, that's like you know what I also don't like about this, the celebrity boxing, is that I feel like the judges are ass. In the YouTube versus TikTok thing, it was a Gibb versus somebody. It was a TikToker he fought. And Gibb was beating the ever-living shit out of this guy, like nonstop, punching him. This kid didn't even throw like a punch, and they called that a tie. Now, I don't know if these are sanctioned judges or whatever, not sanctioned, or like, I don't really know the word, but I don't know if these are judges that are used for regular boxing. But if they are, these guys need to get their fucking eyes checked. This kid threw like 70 punches compared to this kid's like 4. And then they have, this is what I hate about these influencers, is that he saw that it was a tie, not Gibb, the other guy, the TikTok kid, saw that it was a tie, and when asked, do you think you won? He said, yeah. He's like, yeah, I won. This is what I hate, is that these aren't fighters. These are people who want clout, and they just want that symbol of, oh, I'm the best. What are you talking about? Without earning it. They're not fighters. They won't say like, I respect my opponent. He actually did a really good job. He beat me. No, you're really going to look me dead in the eye after you get punched in the face multiple times and you not retaliating. You're going to say you won. It's embarrassing, man. It's so embarrassing. And I'm predicting, I'm not, the professional predictor, but I think that boxing will officially become just an overall joke within like a couple years. I think that the only thing they're hanging on by is the celebrity fighting. There's Ryan Garcia, I think that's his name, who's an absolute monster. He's the fastest boxer I think I've ever seen in my life. But besides him, you got Canelo, and I'm not the biggest boxing fan. Those are the two I can add. But I don't see boxing going anywhere near the popularity of UFC ever again, because I know boxing back in the day was popular, but I don't think they'll ever be the big fighting sport ever again because of this.
Well, they'd need the Mayweather, the Tyson.
Yeah, they would need to, if there was a Mike Tyson right now, boxing
I feel like
would
he'd be in
huge.
the UFC.
Dude, Mike Tyson can still fuck people up. Did you watch his fight?
I did watch that one too.
That wasn't a tie, but they had to do it a tie because, they're both legends. But he fucked up Roy Jones Jr. He beat his ass, and he held back.
Oh, yeah.
If you were watching the fight, it looked like he was holding back before he was going to knock him out. Like, it was bad. Like, he was hitting him. And then it looked like he held back a few punches because, like, in his head, he's like, all right. Because I think you're not allowed to knock him out in that round. I don't think you were allowed to knock him out in their match. I think there was, like, a rule.
Yeah, probably because the CTE that they both have gotten over
Dude,
the
Mike
years.
Tyson's actually a smart guy. If you ever listen to him,
he has a good podcast.
like if you ever listen to him talk about like history and stuff, he's actually really intelligent. He's not like dumb. He's not that dumb jock that you would think he would be. He's actually like interesting as hell. Like he has I've never watched his podcast, but I've watched him on Rogan. I keep mentioning Rogan. I've watched other podcasts, I promise. I just can't think of any at the moment because I'm thinking of like athletes and stuff, and most of those are on Joe Rogan. One podcast I've watched recently was right before I interviewed my porn star friend Jacki O. I watched Call Her Daddy.
Okay.
I watched Call Her Daddy with Lana Rhoades, and fuck, was that a weird podcast. They were asking her, what's the kinkiest thing that you want to do with your boyfriend? And I think she said acting like a dog and licking peanut butter off his balls or some fucking shit. I swear to God, that's not fake.
Yeah, I don't think Batman would do that.
Only heroes do that, bro. That's not hero. That's like an anti-hero. Like, bro,
That's the Joker. That's the Joker right
That's
there.
the Joker who lives in chaos. That man just enjoys chaos. Like, I was listening because I was trying to get some ideas on what to ask the porn star friend. And I'm like, how do I ask that? Like, I'm a guy, and this is a girl asking a girl, so it's a little easier. So I'm a guy, and I'm like, so should I ask her if she likes pretend to be a dog and lick peanut butter off her boyfriend's balls? It's like...
Might not be the most professional for someone you don't know, but for a friend,
But Jacki O, I'm telling you, is she was easily the most, like, nothing could embarrass her if I asked her on the podcast. So that's why I'm trying to get her back on soon, because I have some balls now, and I'll ask her more in-depth questions. Like, the most in-depth question I asked was, like, and I actually have a clip of this, is what was your favorite thing? What's your favorite thing to film? And the first thing she says is, I love giving blowjobs. Like that, like just straight away. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, I like being in threesomes too, but I like being the extra. I don't like being in the relationship. I like being the extra in the threesomes. And the first thing, right after that, I said, oh, your boyfriend must be happy. She replies, and people didn't notice this little extra thing she said. She's like, well, yeah, my boyfriends enjoy it. And in my head, I wish I capitalized on that and asked, like, boyfriends? She just said boyfriends. Like, not boyfriend, like multiple people. Okay. That's gangster as fuck. She is gangster as fuck. Jacki, if you're watching this, I just want to let you know you're gangster as fuck. I keep saying that, but she was probably the like I said, the most, nothing could embarrass her. And she said that. She said, I'm not somebody who can get embarrassed. And I asked her, like, have you ever gotten embarrassed on set before she told me this? She's like, no, there's nothing. I really don't care. I'm not somebody who will be, like, awkward in any kind of situation. And I love it. I got to have her back on, man. She would be such a fun guest to have on and, like, not be such a bitch. because I was a bitch and I had so many questions written out that I didn't want to ask, and I was just kind of like hesitating, and the podcast was a little late, so I only got like 35 minutes in with her. We gotta run that one back. You're gonna like Jacki. She's funny. She's really funny.
I'm blushing right now.
Oh my god. But yeah, she's a superhero in her own right, like Batman would be. She's a superhero if you think about it. She wouldn't mind going down on a girl.
Oh yeah, she'd actually be a great expert for that take to see how she feels about that.
They should consult her to talk about, eating a chick out. They should teach Batman a thing or two.
Yeah.
You don't know what to fucking say. It's so fucked up. Oh my god. All right. Oh, what else am I trying to say?
You hear about the Suns in 4 guy?
The what?
The Phoenix Suns. There's this. They're playing the Denver Nuggets, and they were up 3-0 in a crucial 4th game. And these Nuggets fans, got in a fist fight with this one person, this Suns fan. He grabs the chain of this Nuggets fan, pulls him in, proceeds to punch him like 15 times in the face. And then they run away. He's pulling his pants up. He's running away. And then the guy goes, "Suns in 4." And it was pretty iconic, pretty viral moment. He actually was just brought on to Dave Portnoy's podcast, some sort of Barstool podcast. They're printing all these shirts that say "Suns in 4."
What the fuck? Dude, people take sports so seriously. And I know they've always taken sports seriously, but like getting into a physical altercation is such a step. Like one of the things that I'll never go to, I'm a Giants fan. I'm a huge Giants fan. I'm based in New Jersey, so I can go to games all the time if I want to. But I'll never go to a Giants game in Philadelphia. They attack their fans.
Yeah, I live in Philly, for those who don't know, and I'm also a huge Giants fan, and I tend to go to the game in Philly.
You're crazy.
Against the Giants. Yeah, I've never had a problem except the one time was Eli's last game in Philly. Went to overtime, and they lost. As soon as it's physical.
Fucking Evan Engram.
Like, I was getting physically touched. Like, that's where I draw the line. Like, you can say whatever you want. I'm wearing the other color in your stadium. You can yell at me. But the touching is where I draw the line.
The second you start getting like physical with somebody, that's just fucked up. That's not even sports, man. You're just an asshole. Like, you deserve to never be allowed in the stadium again. When I was a kid, I was probably like 10 years old, and I was going to a Giants game, and I'm wearing my Giants jersey, and I'm a loudmouth. Obviously, that's why I'm doing podcasting. And I would scream at the top of my lungs, and I'm having a good time. And there's a fucking high school kid or a college kid who's wearing an Eagles jersey. And he's screaming in my ear that I fucking suck. And I'm like, what? So my dad whispers over to me, and he's like, what is he doing? And I'm like, this guy's yelling at me nonstop, and he's like getting in my face. We ended up calling security. Security takes him out, and you just see a little 10-year-old me going like this. Fuck you, bitch. It's just a little kid just fucking looking at him like this, and the guy got so angry at me. But if you get so angry that you feel the need to talk to a child, or on the opposite, like hit a man, you're a dick. Like, you don't deserve to go to games, bro. You don't deserve that. And I don't like how, I mean, was this guy justified for beating the shit out of this man? Or was it not?
Well,
like, was it
I didn't tend to think so. But then the best player on the Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker, retweeted a picture of the guy and was like, we need to find this guy. And to make him like a legend in Phoenix. Like, this man.
Why?
It's very weird to me because I feel like they come from a place when you're fighting in the stands like, oh, I'm like a warrior. I'm out there with you guys. I'm fighting.
But you're not. You're just some drunk bum who got off his 9-to-5 job and, had a little bit of extra money to go to a game. Dude, you're a bum. Get the fuck out of here saying that you're some hero. I hate people like that, bro. You're such, oh, God, that irritates me.
Have you seen the You're Not That Guy pal on TikTok?
No. What is that?
Oh, that guy's a legend. You're going to have to watch that off.
What is the base? What is he?
Essentially, it was just in this grocery store. I'm not sure how the altercation started, but like, it's this guy like in his 40s or 50s, and he's just very calm, but being very hostile. And he's like,
okay, you're not that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy. Okay. Are you? Absolutely.
He was just trying to cause problems.
But yeah, but his was like a low energy almost freak out. So it's almost a little scarier because you don't know
You don't know what he can do.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else? You know what else I like is, do you remember, what was his name? Tyrone? Where he, Tyrone, and I just fucked your wife. And he smacked the guy's cigarettes out of his hand.
I do not.
You've never seen that? Oh my God, you got to pull that shit up. Tyrone would go up to people. He's just this jacked, like I'm telling you, jacked as fuck guy. And he would go up to people and he'd be wearing like a do-rag or something. And he'd go, I'm Tyrone, and I hate cigarettes. And he would smack cigarettes out of people's hands aggressively, and like they wouldn't do anything because it's just this jacked guy looking at him, and they would just kind of look.
From the bottom of Tyrone. And fuck whatever you speak about. I'm here to fuck y'all wives.
No, not fucking with this guy right now. This guy's gonna eat me.
Yeah, I was looking at it a little bit now. You can see the gears turn. They're assessing the damages here.
Bro. They're not gonna mess with that guy. And the funny thing is you don't know if he can fight. He's just some jacked man who, you know, if you don't know how to fight, you're probably getting thrown to the ground and your ass beat. But there was another one. I forgot. I think it was he smacked the guy's cigarette out of his hand. And he goes, what are you doing, man? He goes, I'm Tyrone. I just fucked your wife. And he left. He just left the fucking scene. It's just fun. Dude, people are crazy when it comes to trying to get famous. It really is. I respect that guy more than I respect Logan and Jake Paul when it comes to like getting famous. I don't know why. Like I shouldn't, because he's just like those football guys that I talked about, like the fans who are assholes. But like maybe that's what they see in him. Maybe they look at that fan like I look at Tyrone. Like he's just like a legend. But
the legend of the game.
I don't know, man. Everybody's got their own.
We love Tyrone on this podcast.
We all love Tyrone. Get Tyrone on this podcast, please. How much time we got? What time is it? Oh, we only got like 8 minutes. Damn, it's already
52. Yeah.
Damn, bro, it's already been like an hour.
Yeah, time flies.
That's not bad for a solo podcast. I mean, do you have any other topics that you had written down that maybe I could talk about? I mean, I'm this is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, slightly underprepared. We hit them all. You're Not That Guy, Pal was the last one. You got it.
Yo, bro. All right.
Before next pod, you got to watch You're Not That Guy, Pal.
All right, I promise you I'll get that going. All right, so this was a successful solo podcast. I apologize if it did seem like I was a little nervous. You know what? First time doing this kind of thing, so show a little mercy, please. Don't be that guy at the football game who's an asshole. Next podcast will be Friday. We're going to have Dave on. He might have a guest on as well. We don't know yet. I'll let you guys know on Twitter. Make sure you follow the Twitter. It's 56 Danny Snyder. That's my personal Twitter. I don't know if we're going to make a Manic Mind Twitter yet because, I don't know, I don't really see the need in that. Manic Mind Podcast is also on Instagram. It's just that. It's Manic Mind Podcast. YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you do notifications. Once we get to 100 subscribers, we finally get that custom link, which is huge to the game. We're finally able to get something done with that, and then we don't have to do the youtube.com/eatmydick or some shit like that they put up every time, which is different, which is annoying. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to the live cast. We're going to be posting this either today or tomorrow, so why did I just clap twice? That was awkward. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you. What the fuck? Thank you.